are going to discuss about 10th class real numbers chapter. In that, what are the main concepts we are going to discuss? Let us check. In real numbers chapter, first of all, we are going to discuss first topic. It is Euclid's division lemma. Euclid's division lemma, and second topic is based on terminating, non-terminating, fundamental theorem. Fundamental theorem based on we will have exercise 2, and based on terminating, non-terminating, terminating and non-terminating. Based on this, we have three theorems. Based on three theorems, we have exercise 3. And fourth one, irrational proofs. Proofs of irrationals. And our fifth topic, it is logarithms. Okay. These 5 topics we are going to discuss, and in this chapter we have 5 exercises. So each topic will have one exercise. We are going to discuss each topic in this video. Yeah, earlier classes we learned division algorithm rule. Let us discuss what is division algorithm. See here, I am dividing some number 22 by 7. So here 7 is divisor and 22 is dividend. Now do with division. 7 2s are 14. Okay. 7 3s are 21. One is left. Okay, it is not exactly divisible. So this is quotient and this is remainder. Now here we got divisor, dividend, quotient and remainder. Now check out here how to get this 22. See here, 22 equal to how many times? 7 3s are 7 3s are 21, and what is left here? 1. Okay, 7 3s are 21 and 21 plus 1 22. So this is dividend and this is divisor into quotient plus remainder. Okay, so this is division algorithm. Division algorithm nothing but to getting out dividend. What is the rule we are following? That is division algorithm. Okay, now this is previous knowledge, lower level topic. Now Euclid's. For the Euclid's, we have one formula, that is A equal to BQ plus R. And here A and B are integers. And Q is quotient. Q is a quotient. And R is remainder. So it looks like a division algorithm. Here we have A is, if you consider A is a dividend and B is divisor and Q is quotient and R is remainder. So A is dividend and B is divisor and Q is quotient and R is remainder. by remainder. So this is not new one, this formula, this is old one only. Here A equal to BQ plus R is a division algorithm, where it is looking similarly, and A and B are integers we will consider here, and Q is a quotient and R is a remainder. And to apply this formula we have some rules, conditions. Look at here, just now we did this division. One is always less than of our 7. That means remainder is always less than of this divisor, and also this remainder is always less than of quotient. Okay. So R is less than of B. Okay. Quotient value. From this we got one condition, and some cases we will get remainder as 0. So R can be 0 or less than of B. R can be 0 or less than of B. So from this we got one condition, that is 0 less than or equal to or less than B. This is our condition. Okay, R value should be 0 or B. Next, Q value not equal to 0. What will happen if Q value is equal to 0? See here, our quotient is 0. 3 into 0? 0. Something divisor we have, and we are multiplying quotient value 0. If Q value is 0. If Q value is 0, what will happen? Completely this becomes 0. That means our dividend becomes 0. So if quotient is 0, we cannot apply this logarithm formula. Now these are the two conditions. One is Q is not equal to 0, and another one is R value should be less than or equal to 0 and less than of B. Got it? Now based on this we are going to discuss exercise problems and how to apply this, where we are going to apply this Euclid's division lemma. Yeah, earlier we learned LCM and HCF. By using of multiples, we solve least common multiple, and by using of factors, we find out highest common factor by using of factors. But without using multiples and factors, we will solve LCM and HCF by using of Euclid's formula. Okay, how to use? Look at here. Yeah, how to use Euclid's division lemma? By using of Euclid's division lemma, how to solve HCF? Before that, I am going to discuss, in previous classes we discussed about HCF, and we have some another method. Let us recall that method. And I am taking here two numbers, two integers, 50 and 70, and in this, which is the smallest? 50 is the smallest number. So 50 consider as a divisor and 70 consider as dividend. Okay, in how many times it will cancel? One time. And what is left? 20. Is it divisible by 50? No. So after this step, this is step 1. Now second step. This is second step. In second step, our remainder becomes divisor, and our previous step 1 divisor becomes dividend for step 2. Got it, everyone? This step 2, first step remainder becomes as a divisor, and first step divisor becomes a dividend. Now in 20 table, how many times it will cancel? In 2 times it will cancel. 22s are 40. Now how much remainder? 10. Now again, this is step 3. Now it becomes, this remainder becomes divisor, and our this divisor becomes dividend. And how many times? 2 times. 20. And we got here 0. Where we got remainder as 0? remainder as 0. That divisor we consider as a HCF. That divisor we consider as HCF. So for 50 and 70, HCF is 10. Not quotient, not remainder. Where we got remainder 0, that divisor we consider as a HCF. Common divisor is the another name is factor. So we will consider this divisor as highest common factor. Got it, everyone? Now how to apply Euclid's? See, here A, what is our formula? A equal to B cube plus R. Okay. So what is meant by A? A we consider as dividend. So here dividend is 70. And what is B? Divisor. In this case, what is divisor? 50 into what is cube? Which one is we got a quotient? First case 1 plus what remainder we got here in first step 20. This is step 1. Got it, 1? Next, step 2. In this case, what is dividend? 50. And divisor is 20. And quotient is 2. And remainder is 10. Okay? This is step 2. Next, step 3. And in this case, dividend is 20. And divisor is 10. And quotient 2 times it cancelled. And remainder is 0. So where we got 0, the divisor we consider as HCF. 50 and 70. HCF is 10. Got it, everyone? Are you following? Very easy way I explained how to apply this Euclid's division lemma by solving HCF. Simple previous knowledge I recalled here. How we did previous classes by finding of HCF, we did this method. By using of this method only, I applied an equational form. Got it, everyone? So here you can check also when you are doing this process whether you are getting correct answer or wrong answer. By calculating of this, you will get left side answer. 50 ones are 50 and 50 plus 20 you will get it 70. And same process to continue here. 10 2s are 20 and 20 plus 0 20. So left side and right side will be equal. Then you will get that clarity about this problem. Based on Euclid's division lemma, we have exercise problems. See here how to solve without doing the calculation by using of Euclid's division lemma. What is our question here? First read that question. Show that every positive even integer is of the form of 2q. So here what is given? Even integer in the form of 2q. Okay? And that every positive odd integer is of the form of 2q plus 1. So odd integer, it is in the form of 2q plus 1. So let us discuss by using of Euclid's division lemma. See, what is our Euclid's division lemma formula? A equal to bq plus r. And what is conditions here? Here conditions are q is not equal to 0 and r value should be less than of b. 0 and b. Okay. Now from given question, what is given? 2q. So let us consider this one as a, some integer, a equal to 2q. So it is in the form of Euclid's division lemma formula? Yes, of course. So b is 2. Our b value is 2. So what is our condition? 0 less than or equal to r less than or equal to b. So 0 less than r less than b is 2. So what are r values here? R values are 0, 1 and less than means do not consider 2. Only before 2 values we have to consider. Now if you substitute in place of r 0, what is b? 2q. And what is r? 0. A equal to 2q. What is divisor here? 2. 2 is exactly divisible by q. It is a, yes, that's what we got, 0 as the remainder. So it is a even integer. We learned Even integers are exactly divisible by 2 table. Now odd integer. R value in place of B substitute 2 and Q and R value is 1. Here R value is 1. Now after division any integer with 2, if you get 1 or another numbers, it is not exactly divisible by 2. So those numbers we called as odd numbers. So our even integer is in the form of 2q and odd integer is in the form of 2q plus 1. Got it? How to solve? By using of Euclid's division lemma. Now by using of Euclid's division lemma, show that every square of positive integer it is in the form of 3p or 3p plus 1 or 3p plus 2. Okay? What they given? Every square integer. Square of any positive integer it is in the form of 3p, 3p plus 1, 3p plus 2. So let us assume this 3p equal a equal to 3p. Some number. 3p is a some number. Now from this what is b? 3. So by using of condition Euclid's division lemma condition we got r value. That is 0, 1, 2. Before 3 consider r values. 0, 1, 2. Now what is our formula? A equal to bq plus r. Now substitute first. A equal to b is 3. Q value is 1 plus r value is 0. Now a equal to q. Now square it both sides. You got here 3 square is 9 and q square. Now common 3, 3q square. Now let us assume this one as p. Now a equal to it is in form of 3p. Okay. Now this is in the form of c. P equal to 3q square we assumed. Let us assume p equal to 3q square. So which form we got here? A equal to 3p. So after squaring what we got here? A equal to 3p. Next. R value is 1. Now substitute in place of R. B is 3. Q plus R value is 1. Now square it. 3q plus 1 whole square. Now apply a plus b whole square formula. Now it is 9q square plus 2 3s are 6, 6 1s are 6 and 6q plus 1 square is 1. Okay. Now in these two terms common 3. A equal to 3q square and 2q plus 1. Now assume this one as p. Now 3p plus 1. So again our square number also. It is in the form of 3p plus 1. Okay. Now substitute in our place of r 2. B is 3, Q plus 2. Okay, square it. 3Q plus 2 whole square. 9 Q square. 2 3s are 6, 6 2s are 12. 12Q, 2 square is 4. Now, in this 2 you will get A square is 3 common. 3q square and 12 table 4q. Or else only 3 common here. And 2 common here. 6q plus 2. Three fours are 12, 12q plus 4. Okay. So let us assume this as a p. Now a square again it is in the form of 3p and common 2 in this plus 2. Okay. So it completely considers p. Now it becomes 3p plus 2. Okay. After squaring, you will get it is in the form of 3p plus 1, 3p plus 2. Next topic is fundamental theorem. Before discuss fundamental theorem, we are going to discuss prime factorization method. What is prime factorization? So any composite number, if you are expressing in a form of product of prime numbers, that we call it as prime factorization. So consider here one number 36. Now it will, what are prime numbers here? 2, 3, 5, 7. Okay, these are the prime numbers. First, always consider 2. First, smallest number to highest number. If it is not cancelling a smallest number, go for another number. Okay. Now 36 will cancel in 2 table. 18 times. 2 9s are 18. It is not cancelling 2. So, take another number 3 prime number. So, 3 table it will cancel 3 times. 3 ones are. Okay. These are the product of prime numbers. Okay. 2 2s are 4, 3 3s are 9 and 4 9s are 36. Now we got a prime factorization and these all numbers are in a product form. So after multiplying you will get a composite number. Okay. Check out another number 24. Again 2 table. 2 12s are, 2 6s are, 2 3s are. Okay. This is prime factorization, product of prime numbers. So, what are those numbers here? 36 and 24 numbers are composite numbers. These two numbers are composite numbers. So, these composite numbers are we expressed in the form of product of prime factors. So, from this we can say that every composite number we can express in the form of product of prime factors, and these product of prime factors are unique. Why it is called unique? Apart from the order, we can say we will get same prime factors. What are the involved primes numbers in this? Same pattern you will get. Apart from the order, same prime numbers will involve by solving this composite number. Got it? If you start with a 3, again you will get same prime numbers. See here 2 table 4 times. So I started with a 3. Again I got same prime numbers. So this we called as a unique prime factorization. So every composite number it be expressed in the form of product of prime factors and it is a unique and it is pattern is a unique way. Got it everyone? This is we called as fundamental theorem. What fundamental theorem states that every composite number can be expressed as a product of prime factors and this product of prime factors is a unique way. Got it? Now by using the fundamental theorem we are going to solve problems. See here one question. Show that 4 to the power of n. If you substitute any natural number it ends with 0. Show that 4 to the power of n end with 0 when we substitute n plus natural numbers. So without doing division, how to prove this one? What we learned previous statement fundamental theorem. What it is saying that every composite number can be expressed. Now before that 0 in ones place. So to getting up 0 digit in a ones place, what is required? Let us check example problems which are having 0 in ones place. Those are 10, 20, 30, okay, so on. Now let us check this prime factorization. For 10, 2 into 5. 2 5s are 10. Next 20, 2 into 2 into 5. 2 2s are 4, 4 5s are 20. And for 30, 2 15s are and 3 5s are. Okay, in this 3, to getting up 0 in ones place, what are the prime factors involved? What are the common prime factors? 2, 5. And in this answer we have 2 and 5. Here also 2 and 5. Okay, what are the common factors? 2 and 5. To getting a 0 in ones place. Okay, 0 in ones place to getting up that digit. What is the requirement? Here prime factors should involve 2 and 5. If the presence of 2 and 5, you will get 0 in ones place. Now let us take given number 4 to the power of n. Prime factorization of 4 to the power of n is 2 into 2 all to the power of 10. Is it presence in 2 is presence in that. And what about to getting of 0, which is required? Another prime number is 5. Is it presence in this? No. So to getting of 0, we don't have that. 5 is a prime number. So we don't get 0 in ones place. Got it everyone? By using a fundamental theorem, we are going to solve this problem. Got it? Next. By using a fundamental theorem, some more problems are given to us. 7 into 11 into 13 plus 13. Without calculation, prove that it is a composite number. Now, which given number, which numbers involved? 7, 11, 13. These are prime numbers. And they are connected with a multiplication. So, these are in a product form. So, if prime numbers are in a product form, you will get composite. So this is a composite number. Without doing the multiplication, you can say that this is a composite number. From where we got this? By using a fundamental theorem. Fundamental theorem states that every composite number can be. So vice versa also we can use. If it is a prime product of prime factors, it is a composite number. Okay. Opposite also we can use. If composite number, we can get a product of prime numbers. If product of prime numbers, it is a composite number. Got it? So these are the prime numbers. It is in the product form. So this is composite number. Now composite plus some prime number. It is a composite number. Got it? Sum of composite and prime number, it is again composite number. Without doing calculation, by using of these statements, you solve the problem. Now again by using a fundamental theorem, before we discussed by using of Euclid's division lemma how to solve HCF, and now we are using here fundamental theorem. By using a fundamental theorem how to solve LCM and HCF without doing any calculations, and only one requirement here we should have a prime factorization form. Now I am taking some numbers 12 and 18. Okay, now do the prime factorization for this number. 2 6 are 12 and 2 2s are 2 3s are 6. Now exponential form is 2 square and 3 to the power of 1. Next 18. 2 9s are and 3 3s are 9. So exponential form is 2 power 1 and 3 square. Okay. Now yes, I will write it 2 square into 3 power 1 for 18. 2 power 1 into 3 square. Okay. Now, to getting of LCM. What is meant by LCM? Least common multiple. So, exactly opposite for least. Least opposite is highest. So, in this, what is the highest number? Highest exponent. Common. Take those product. 2 square 4, 3 square 9. Now 36 the LCM. Okay. Product of the highest power of the prime factorization. Okay. Next HCF. What is HCF? Highest common factor. So opposite exactly it is lowest. So in this what is the lowest factor? Exponent 2 power 1 and 3 power 1. So common. Now this product is 6. Okay, HCF of this is 6 and LCM of this is 36. And you may get some confusion here. If it is the highest, it should be common for both cases. And which is highest? 2 is common for both cases. And which is highest here? 2 square and 3 square highest. So these are we are considered. And by doing of HCF, it should be common. So formula here statement is product of the smallest power of each common factor. So common of they said. So in this case it should be common. 3 power 1 is common in this and 2 power 1 is common in this. So that's what we common to this least common factor. What it should be common and this is no need. This is a way to find out LCM and HCF. Now before discussing next topic theorem 1.3, I will explain one example problem, that is 0.35. Okay, 35. Now imagine here we don't have the decimal point, so it becomes a 35 number. Now write in a p by q form. After decimal point, how many zeros? How many digits are there? 2 digits. So after 1, keep the 2 zeros. Now it is in the form of p by q. Now is it in a simplest form? No. So first write in a simplest form. 35. For 100 you can write 10 square. Here 2 square. 2 zeros are there. So in exponent you will get 2. Next 35. Now split it. 2 into 5. 2 5s are 10 square. Next class of exponents we learn. If two different bases are having same exponent, you will get a square. For both same exponent you will get different bases. So we are applying here. Now 35 2 square into 5 square. Okay. Now 35 you can write 5 into 7 also. 2 square into 5 square. Okay now. This is our p by q form and we written in the form of q 2 power 1 and 2 power m and 5 power m. Got it? Next another example I am taking. Got it? First clearly understand. Everyone observe here. For q prime factorization it is in the form of 2 to the power of n and 5 to the power of m. Okay. After doing q prime factorization we got this. Next consider another number 14. Okay. For 14 if you remove decimal point it is a 14 and for after decimal point we have 1 0. Now 14 exponential form 2 into 5. We don't have any power so consider 1. Now split it 14. 2 power 1 apply both bases. This exponent 2 power 1 and 5 power n 1. Now again after doing q prime factorization what we got? 2 power n and 5 power m both are in product form. Okay. And which numbers I took here? Previous case I took 0.35 and here 1.4. These numbers are terminating decimals. Terminating decimals. Okay. These numbers are terminating decimals. So from this we can say that if x be a rational number, terminating decimals, if we can write in the form of p by q form and q prime factorization in the form of 2 to the power of n and 5 to the power of m. Okay. X be a rational number. These are rational numbers. Okay. And this decimal expansion is terminates. We can write in the form of p by q. Write in the form of p by q and q prime factorization is in the form of 2 to the power of n and 5 to the power of m. This is our statement 1.3. So everyone got it? If a rational number, if it is terminates and we can express in the form of p by q and q prime factorization is 2 power n and 5 power m. Next one 3 by 8. This is a p by q number, p by q form number. It is a rational number. It is in the form of p by q. For q, write in a prime factors form. 3. 2 into 2 into 2. 3 by 2q. Okay, without doing division, see here. In previous case, which form we got? 2 power n and 5 power m. Okay, so in this way, what base we got here? 2. So which is left here? 5. So both numerator and denominator multiply with the same exponent. 5 cube. Numerator also. Now 3 into 5 cube is nothing but 125 and 2 into 5 are having same exponent, so combine both. 125s are 5, 5 2s are 6, 7, 3 1s are 3, 375. Now 2 5s are 10, 10 cube. 375 by 10 cube value is 1000. Now here we have 3 zeros. So after 3 digits, keep the decimal point. So 0.375. Now which one we took here? P by Q form number 3 by 8. Now we expressed in the form of 2 power n and 5 power m. Then it is a decimal expansion terminates. Okay. So from this we got one statement. If given number is a rational number and it is in the form of P by Q and Q prime factorization is in the form of 2 power n and 5 power m, which decimal expansion is terminates. Got it everyone? So if decimal expansion is terminates, we can write in the form of P by Q and Q it is in the form of 2 power n and 5 power m. If P by Q form number, Q it is written in the form of 2 power n 5 power m, decimal expansion is terminates. So about these two statements, what we got? Compulsory Q denominator we can express 2 power n and 5 power m. If 2 power n 5 power m, it is a terminate decimal. If a terminate decimal, you can write in the form of 2 power n and 5 power m. So if not, what will happen? It not terminate number. It is a non-terminating. Look at here. 1 by 3. Now, can we write in exponential, for exponential form for 3 is 3 power 1. Which prime numbers involved? 3. What about 2 power n and 5 power m? Is it in the form of 2 power n and 5 power m? No. So, it is not terminates. That is non-terminating number. So, those fractions will not terminate. It is a non-terminating. So, if x be a rational number and q is not in the form of 2 power n and 5 power m, it is a non-terminating decimal. These three are the statements. Theorem 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. These three are the statements. First statement is decimal terminates. Write in the form of P by Q and Q 2 power n and 5 power m. Now given it is P by Q, so Q in express 2 power n and 5 power m, so it is a terminates decimal. Okay, it is not last 1.5. Q is not in the form of 2 power, not in the form of 2 power n and 5 power m. So it is not non-terminating decimal. These are the three theorems.